I believe that we are all love, and love is probably the most beautiful, highest vibration, and I believe that God created us in his image. Like our social structure right now, it was so different back then. Things are just constantly changing in that way. My only wish when I was like a kid was I wished everyone I loved were in heaven with me. As life went on and I experienced life, I was starting to realize that heaven is really just a state of mind. It's a vibration. I reckon hell is also a state of mind. Hell is complete separation from your God self.
Is there a relationship that you look back and be like, this was not a good relationship, I shouldn't have got myself mixed into this? It makes it hard to process. Like, if we are really all one from the inside, why is there so much hate? Why is there so much trouble in the world? Welcome to the Discover You podcast. Today I'm joined with another special guest, and our topic today is going to be very interesting. As you know, the Discover You podcast is all about you. It's about you sharing your story, your perceptions and perspective of life. Well, this is a research project, like I always say. Aiming to do is we're going to interview 10,000 people, and then at the end of it, we're going to sit around with psychologists and neurologists and some spiritual leaders and teachers and experts in theology, and we're going to see what journey people have taken to reach that state of fulfillment. And fulfillment is a topic that we'll always talk about and we'll continue to talk about, to understand if people are fulfilled, are they not fulfilled, what are they doing differently, what are they doing wrong, what are they doing right, what do they think life should be or what life is to them. And today we have with you, well, I should say we have with us a special guest, a very special guest, a good friend of mine. She's decided to join me today. Today we got Bernadette.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in, Bernadette.
Yeah.
I was quite excited when I reached out to you. I was like, you know what, I gotta get Bernadette on the podcast.
Yeah.
I've always admired your perception in life, and I'm hoping today we're gonna dig much deeper and understand.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm excited.
I think the first question the viewers are asking, who's Bernadette? And so that's the first question I'll ask you, Bernadette. Who's Bernadette to you? Like, how would you describe Bernadette?
Well, I'm a mom, but like everybody else, I'm just like everybody else who's listening here. I'm a human experiencing life in many different ways and forms, and just navigating through that and figuring out how to express my individual self in the fullest way, in the most beautiful way possible. Yeah, I mean, there's a saying that's we're all spiritual beings having human experiences, and that resonates with me a lot. So, yeah, don't feel as different from everybody. I just feel like a human.
Yeah, well, humans can be feeling a completely different way, right? But one of the first things you said was you described yourself as a mom.
Yes.
And then, like, I'm just looking into the words you use here. So we've had so many guests come into this podcast and they'll have all sorts of description of themselves. So you only accepted one title and the rest was not titles. There weren't titles. Yeah. So the only title you seem to be aligning yourself with is
motherhood or parenthood. For me personally, it's the most important job in the world. Personally, for me, it's the most fulfilling because the children are our future and we get to shape our future through them in the way that we raise them and take care of them and kind of just watch all of that unfold. And I suppose in like being a mum has taught me so much about myself because they're constantly reflecting what's going on inside of me, and that takes a lot of like conscious work.
Yeah.
And I know in my own childhood that it was like my parents like were incredibly reactive to things. Yeah. So I found that when I was a parent, I was beginning to be reactive to things as well, that my children did. And I didn't want to repeat that. So I had to, gain some knowledge and understanding of what was going on and how to change that and raise my children differently so that the world can obviously be a better place and that people can experience just more beautiful, harmonious things.
Yeah. You said that the children are the future. I don't believe that.
You don't believe that? Why?
I think it's a saying people are just throwing out there.
Okay.
Like when you say children are the future for who? Future for what?
future for the collective consciousness. So like parenting the children, I suppose influencing that kind of influences everybody else around you, whether it's adults or children or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, made me really think here.
Well,
No,
I think it's been thrown around for so long that we actually have to think about that statement.
Yeah.
Children are the future. Future for what? What future are you talking about here?
I think future for a better place and future for the way that we interact with one another.
Yeah.
I don't know, coming into a world where we're more accepting of each other. So one of like the most important things to me while I parent is allowing a space for my children to express themselves emotionally, like all emotions on the spectrum, like angry, sad, and not to be reactive around that, because, you know, like a lot of, I suppose, people our age and people older get shamed and guilt for experiencing feelings like anger and sadness and depression and anxiety and all that. And so I just want to, for me personally, be able to provide a safe space for my children to feel those things without judgment. And it's been so humbling, actually, because for me, I tend to like be quite, I can get quite rageful or quite angry, but I'm conscious of this now. So when my children feel angry and sad and even rageful as well, like I remember like my role here, and I allow them that space to feel that, and I don't react, and I'm just consciously aware of what they're feeling, and I love them through it, and I'm just there and holding them. I'm not trying to stop them from crying. I'm not trying to stop them from being angry. I just allow them to go through the experience, and eventually, you know, they start to calm down and they feel comforted and loved, and when they're settled, I'll ask them if they're like okay, and my little girl's always like, feeling better now, and then she just goes about her day like it's nothing.
How many children you got, just for the viewers there?
Oh, so I've got 2 kids, one 3-year-old and one 2-year-old soon, and my boy's 2.
When did you become a parent? At what age was that?
Gosh, age.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I forgot counting.
Someone do the math. Someone do the math. I don't know the math.
3 years ago, what is it? 20, I reckon 24, 25, I became a mum. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that's too early to have a kid?
No way. Well, you know, life happens. Like, I don't think you can really plan these things, and if you can, that's great. But for me, in my case, you can't plan having kids? I mean, you can, but in my case, I couldn't. Oh, well, I didn't really think about that, I suppose. I just knew I always wanted to have children, and so I just, you know, did it.
Yeah, right.
So what I was saying before was like, because I've allowed my children that space to feel those things, countless times when I feel them, they actually allow me a space to feel it. Because sometimes when I get angry...
What do you mean by that? They allow you a space? How are kids allowing you space? Because a lot of parents are saying, hey, kids are hard to handle, they're always noisy, always in your space. So, and you reckon you found a strategy where you can kind of, kids can kind of give you space to allow you to feel the emotion too. Yeah,
definitely. So like, because I've allowed them the experience to feel safe in that way, this was like profound for me, like for them to do that to me. But because I've continuously allowed them that space.
Yeah.
And then when I've felt that way, like angry or impatient, and I just raise my voice so loud that it's, you know, just, and my daughter will just be like, she's not afraid of me. Like she'll give me a hug actually. And then she'll wait till I calm down and she'll say, are you feeling better? And then that was just such a humbling experience for me, because in that moment I was actually guilting myself for being angry, because I feel like a lot of parents out there feel shame and guilt for feeling these feelings around their children.
Is that a big thing for parents? Guilt and shame?
Yeah, I think so. Like they have to be like a perfect parent, always like just on top of things all the time, and be emotionally like mature for them, which I think it is important as well.
So I guess in that moment, it's almost as if the child is parenting you. because they're waiting and being patient with you, and then once you calm down, they're coming to you and be like, "Are you okay now?"
Yeah, but I think it's incredibly important first that we do that for them.
Yeah.
You know, and once we do that for them, they can kind of, I think that trust is like building, and that relationship is feeling more like a safe place because people are allowed to feel these things and not feel shame and guilt for feeling these things. And I feel like the human emotion is such, like, all the emotions on the spectrum are a huge part of the human experience. And to not shame or guilt any of it, but to kind of integrate that in a very beautiful, harmonious way, however we go about that.
You just got me thinking of an interesting concept when you're talking about your experience with your daughter and how she provides you space. And it actually just got me thinking that, so we've got inner child in us, and we've got wound, we've got trauma, we've got things we haven't healed from.
Yeah.
And at different parts of life, I think it's called neurological regression. We regress, so we go back to that state, to that age where we felt those emotions, right? And if your daughter at that moment is able to be there for you, is able to understand, obviously because you created that space for her, it's almost as if the parent and the child are both parenting each other.
Well, yeah, kind of, because it's like...
Isn't that beautiful?
I think it's wonderful. So I'm not just parenting my daughter, I'm also parenting my inner child. So when I see her in those states of emotions, whatever it is, I see myself. Like, I see the child, my child self that never got to experience that safe place. So I suppose in that moment, I kind of get the opportunity to be that person in that place. And
then when the child sees you in the low emotional state, who do they see? Do you reckon they're seeing our inner child? They at that moment they're interacting with it's like a child interacting with another child. And then one child being like the adult and being able to, because having patience when someone else is feeling emotional and being able to observe and wait it out and
the term adult is so funny to me. I don't know, because I feel like a kid still. I feel like we're like all little kids in like big people bodies.
Yeah.
And we're all just trying to make sense of the world, but
does the world make sense to you?
Does the world make sense to me? I think it's continuously, I don't know, like changing, unfolding, meaning new things at each moment, like our social structure right now. Like it was so different back then, the social structure back then. So like things are just constantly changing in that way.
How do you make sense of life? Is it things you use as an anchor to make sense of the meaning of life? Like to find meaning in life? I think that's a better way to put it.
To find meaning in life?
Yeah.
I think you can make it mean absolutely anything you want, because it's your life and you get to choose your experiences. But I feel like there are natural consequences that come with certain choices that you make, and you can learn from those experiences. Like if you continuously make choices that make you feel quite low, then you know that that's probably not the best choice to make. And if you continuously make choices that make you feel high and alive, then those are probably the best choices to make.
Well, the people smoking weed would say choices that make them feel high.
Yeah.
So
it's like, okay, for some people that's totally fine, and for some people it doesn't work. But weed is also like a different kind of, it's funny. Look, I have personally experienced this. And
you got experience?
Yes, I have experience with weed. And because everything is vibration, right? And I feel like science already has this down pack. Like if you just go to the single atom of anything, things are constantly moving all the time. So I feel like weed holds a particular vibration. So if you're in a state of mind that's quite high and you ingest weed into your experience, you might feel low, from that experience. Whereas if you are occupying a low state of mind, a low vibrational state, and you ingest weed that's got a high vibrational state than your state of being, then you kind of raise your vibration in that way. But that's kind of like a temporary thing. Well,
I've never heard anybody say it like that. That's such an interesting way to look at it. So if everything holds a vibrational state, the impact it has on you is depending on the state you're inhabiting at the moment.
Yes.
So if you are at a really, really low state, the substance can lift you up only according to the level of vibration it's got.
Yes.
And then
that's from my personal experience.
And if you are at a really high state, the substance become a hindrance.
Yeah.
Because your state is much higher than the substance, so the substance is bringing you down.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something worth pondering on.
Yeah, I quite like that one. Yeah, and it's like that with food, and it's just
food.
Well, yeah, I think everything holds a vibrational state.
Hungry Jack's brings people up or down.
To be honest, though, I feel like it's just, I don't know. I feel like your mind is probably the most powerful vibration, like your consciousness, because your consciousness can hold a vibration.
So that's so interesting the way you were describing things early on. Does this mean? So I think early on you're talking about that we've been put into this earth to be expressive and I think I'm not sure what words you used. I'm just trying to remember what sort of words you used. But it had a question that came up to my mind in terms of free will.
Yeah.
And how free are we in this life? And is free will even a thing?
Is free will even a thing?
Like you said, I think early on you're talking about you can express yourself this way and that way. And then later on you mentioned that if you do express yourself in a certain way and you feel low, then you know that that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
So then...
So how does free
what the heck just happened there? Because did you actually freely express yourself, or you were controlled by a will that's already been premeditated?
Well, that's a cool question. Well, my personal belief, anyway, is that I believe that we are all love, and love is probably the most beautiful, highest vibration, and I believe that God created us in His image, which is love. And anything that kind of acts, or like the choices that stem away from that loving act, holds a low vibration. But yeah, the concept of love is so, it's like
well, if you know what, let me throw you a curveball question.
Okay.
When's the last time you felt loved?
Oh, kind of right now.
Really? Oh, man.
Like, I'm just loving just being here. Like, you at this moment in time, this is my present moment. This is my life. This is my reality. You are like my source of joy right now.
Oh, I'm doing something right, man.
Yeah. And we are each other's just source of joy in this moment that we have. And it's like the only thing for me that matters. And, that's a conscious practice of being present, though, and emptying your mind in that way, I suppose, because it's so easy to get caught up in like your past or in the future.
Let's flip that question around. When's the last time you cried?
I actually cried like 4 mornings ago.
Yeah. What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going through this very intense... I've done a lot of introspective work around relationships at the moment, as I'm currently going through a separation, and that kind of shifted my perspective on relationships, because I thought that that marriage I was in was so right for me, and to be honest, at that point in time, everything felt so right.
Yeah.
Everything felt perfect. Everything felt like it was falling into place, and I regret absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're always unfolding our experiences, and we're always learning.
Yeah.
And I suppose in my marriage, like towards the end, I realized, well, for me, like I was desiring to grow in a different way, and I suppose our paths kind of just separated, and the more I wanted to just stay there, the more friction was happening. And it wasn't serving either of us. So I had to make that decision to be like, okay, like I need to let go. I need to let go of my idea of what a marriage was. I needed to let go of my idea of what my life was supposed to be like.
Hold on.
Yeah.
2 big topics there. I don't want to let this pass because I'll forget this.
God.
Your idea of marriage, what was it?
My idea of marriage, well, growing up, you know, sitting in front of a TV or the Disney, it's like man and woman, and you know, I'm supposed to be with a man, and I'm supposed to have children, and I'm supposed to buy a house, and then that's just it, just to live that kind of life. That's all my idea was.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I was actually struggling with my sexuality, and I was struggling with that for I don't know, since I was 8, I suppose. Not struggling with it when I was 8, but I knew when I was around that age, I had a natural inclination and attraction towards the same gender, and that quite confused me a bit because, like, I was raised in a Christian family, and everything I saw outside of me was, you know, like a man and woman. So I suppose in my mind and my subconscious, that was just the narrative that my life was supposed to be like. So would you say you're gay? I don't know about these labels. I think what I was saying about doing a lot of introspective work after, like, towards the end of my marriage about relationships, I had realized that, oh gosh, this is such a
This is people, safe space.
Yes, safe space. Let me just give me like a minute to think about this.
And these are deep topics.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for just expressing your perspective on this.
This is quite crazy, actually.
It's alright.
No, it's not like a
crisis. Crisis. Take your time.
Okay, well, like I met a woman, and something like inside me just felt this like magnetic pull to her, which was just, I couldn't describe it. I didn't understand it, and for me personally, I feel like I'm quite spiritually and emotionally and energetically inclined, and I tend to go off my feelings before I understand what's going on. And I just felt this strong pull. I didn't understand it, and you know, I believe in the universe. I believe in signs and synchronicities, and I don't know, the divine. I don't fully know how to explain that. I can't fully describe this, but I know from a young age, all I wanted to do was to experience and embody unconditional love. And I'm not sure what was happening between me and this person, but I just felt this. Well, let me just go back to my marriage first about what I learnt there. So what I learnt there was that I was incredibly codependent, and I needed to release that. I needed to experience it, really, to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And then I suppose that taught me that taught me how important my personal boundaries are.
Yeah.
And keeping to that. And I've noticed a recurring pattern in my life. Like, even before my marriage, I was in like a codependency pattern with my previous relationships before that as well.
Yeah.
And it all kind of dates back to like my childhood, because I suppose that's my defense mechanism in feeling, I don't know, loved and safe, I suppose. And so, yeah, so after I became aware of that, okay, I was like, cool, let's just move on with life and learn from that and take on that lesson. And so then I met this beautiful woman, and
Yeah.
I don't understand what this pull was.
Yeah.
This is a really big topic.
No, we'll listen.
And I was really seeking to understand what this feeling was.
Yeah.
And the term twin flame came to mind.
What does that mean?
Yeah, look, I'm still kind of going into that, but it's the only phenomenon that makes sense of my experience.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it's a maybe like a, I don't know if it's like a common thing. I'm not sure. And like, do you know much about like your energy centers and your chakras? And
I've done a little bit of research on that.
yeah, I've only done a little bit of research too, but I felt them in my personal experience. Anyway, so the more I was connecting with this person, the more it's like something inside me like shifted. And oh gosh, it feels so weird to say. It feels really weird to say. So I don't know, so can we like sometime maybe cut this out maybe?
Alright, so
Okay,
we'll chop it.
We'll chop. Okay.
Do you want us to chop it?
We can talk about it, but
Okay.
can we maybe chop it later?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, maybe.
Okay.
And so I just felt so this concept of the twin flame is like, before your soul comes into earth, we've kind of had this agreement where before the soul comes into earth, it splits into two, and it embodies two physical bodies, and one is like the divine, predominantly the divine masculine, and the other is predominantly the divine feminine, and it's irrespective of gender because it's energy. And that's what I've learned anyway about it, and it was the only thing making sense. So when I encountered this person, it kind of activated something inside of me, and it's like her heart was mine and I could feel her, and it's really a mystical feeling. And I don't know if that is common, but in the midst of our conversations, I could feel my codependency play up, but not as strongly. And I was quite aware of it this time. And I would, place my boundaries around that. And I think there was a time where I was feeling fearful because I didn't want to replicate the same relationship.
Yeah.
And so I acted out in surrender. And I was just surrendering this whole thing because I had no idea what was going on. And so I cried that one night because I just felt this release and trusting in something greater than myself. And I went to bed. Great. And then the next morning I woke up crying, and I just felt this wave of unconditional love pour over me, and this, I don't know, this voice or this wisdom or something that was telling me that the whole point of this twin flame concept was that it's the embodiment of unconditional love. It's the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And when you're in union together, we can live harmoniously. And I think it's more than just whatever my relationship is with this person, because I think it serves as a representation of what we should be as a whole. Like, because there's a battle between like men and women, like the patriarchal society and the feminist movement, and we're all just trying to find that balance within each other. And I think people are looking at it from like a physical point of view rather than an energetic one, and there's also a lot of judgment around sexuality and homosexuality and all of that.
Do you see why there's a lot of conflict around that, because people are looking at the physical body of a female and a male, and they're saying it doesn't. So if you were to go male, female, it doesn't match up physically. Do you agree that physically it doesn't match up? So the only way to create a baby is to have obviously sperm from the male, and the egg from the woman, right? So I'm guessing the biggest debate here is that physically it doesn't match up.
Physically it doesn't match up. What do you
mean?
Meaning
that physically, if you have two of the same gender, they don't produce anything. Right. And the only reason I'm going to this topic is because you mentioned along that people are focusing too much on physical, and they should be focusing on the energy side of things. And see things through energy and see things through the spiritual side of things. And my answer to that is, if the reason why people can't bypass the physical is because they seeing that if you put the same element, male, female, you actually can't produce anything.
But that's just one way of looking at the whole thing. Like producing, when you say anything, it's really just producing babies, like producing
life,
people.
But babies is not just babies. It's life. It's existence. It's consciousness. It's you're producing a whole in like you're producing pretty much an expression of God. And so.
Okay. Well,
how do we find alignment between the energy side and the physical side? How do we find alignment?
I think it's accepting everything. I think it's the ability to accept everything and to perceive things without any sort of judgment, and to just kind of watch all of that unfold in a really mystical, beautiful way. I feel like it's quite unexplainable, but like, imagine if everybody was the same in this world. The world would be so boring. And like, I feel like everybody's uniqueness and difference and perceptions make this world more colourful in a way. And
Ramble.
What do you mean? Rainbow? No. More colours. But like,
you know what? I'm just gonna say some podcast. I hated that because I used to love watching rainbows when I was a kid. And it didn't have any meanings. Like it was just existence. It was just something that I would watch to get a realization of what life is. Right. Now it's got a stigma behind it, and it just takes the purity out of my childhood. I hate it.
No, I hear you. I don't think, the whole like love is like the whole pride thing. I feel like that was kind of maybe built on the fact that people had to suppress those feelings, and now I don't know, like maybe it's like just I don't know. For me personally, I don't believe like love is prideful. It's not something to like show off. It's something that's naturally expressed, and it's expressed in many forms. Like, can be expressed through art, can be expressed through, your career, your whatever your passion is, literally anything.
So, if we have to show off our sexuality, show off what we are. It can only, like, I heard someone say, they were talking about, they were using a similar concept for money. They were saying, money, real money, real wealth doesn't speak. Like, it's quiet. Right? And it's those who don't have the wealth that show a lot. They show cars, they show outfit, they show too much. They're always showing. So there's almost this concept of when there is a lack within you and an imbalance within you, you want to show to the world that you got it all together. But when everything is perfect, and not perfect is probably not the right word, when everything is aligned and everything is at peace and all the energies are well aligned, and within you internally you feel at home, you feel at peace. You don't need to brag about it, you don't need to show it to anybody, you don't need anybody's validation.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't care what people come in and tell, oh, I'm this sexuality, but the truth of the matter is, if you were complete in who you were as a person, then there is no need to show.
Yes.
Right? You and I get, even sometimes the topic is oppression, right? Is people feeling oppressed, so they have to show.
Yeah.
So if you feel a high level of oppression, you want to fight against that oppression, and so expression on the fullest. So it's like two sides of the spectrum. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do.
So oppression is on one side of the spectrum, is you feel extremely low and pushed down.
Yeah.
And so you want to combat that oppression, and so you go on the fullest side of the expression. It's like on the ultimate side of the expression, which is on the other side of the spectrum too.
Yeah.
So there's two types of people. The ones that are feeling so low, so they have to push so high.
Yeah.
But really, the key is balance, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all about that balance.
The key is balance.
Yeah.
Is
It's a balance of that perception, the ability to understand both those sides and bring them together. And that's why I think awareness and consciousness is so important to just have. And yeah, that's quite cool that you said that. Yeah.
And so if balance is the game here, just going back on the topic we were talking about earlier on, when you're saying that we need to focus more on the energy side of things and not on the physical side of things.
Yeah.
How can both sides of reality, I think I was going to use the word coexist, but they already coexist. But what I'm really trying to say is, I feel like one perception of life is that in order for things to be fully aligned, right, the physical and the energy side have to become one.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So if we say, having this certain perception on how we function in terms of energy.
You could also say that, not like you said, the physical and did you say the spiritual?
Yes.
Yeah, there's physical and spiritual. I feel like spiritual is also emotional. People want to look at it that way. Because you can't see emotions. You know, you can feel it. Just like spirituality, it's more to do with things you can't see. And that's exactly like emotions as well. So yeah, I think finding the balance in that.
So if the spiritual and the physical has to become one, then how would you explain if you said female to female, and we talked about that one of the biggest stumbling blocks that's stuck on a lot of people's mind is the fact that they can't reproduce. Right? The reproduction bit is the bit. So the two physical bodies can't reproduce, but if the two souls come together spiritually, they might feel like they're twin flame, for example, like in your case, right? How do you? I think the question I'm really trying to say is how do you think that can work if physically it doesn't match but spiritually it matches?
Yeah, well, I think it totally depends on the individual person, because every single person has different desires, needs, and wants in their life. And, you know, people who are like two genders that are together and they want to have children, like, obviously that's going to be a stumbling block, or they have to go through certain obstacles to have their own children. And, I suppose that's just their desire in the way that they do that. For me personally, like, I don't actually desire any more children, because I feel like I on this, I suppose, personal mission to raise the whole world's vibration to a higher consciousness, which is
that's your mission.
Well, for me, yeah, I like
nice, man.
which is unconditional love. I just want to spread that to the world, I suppose, and allow everybody to just be in their most beautiful and natural form, however that may look.
How are you going to do that?
I'm not sure yet. I would just... I firstly, like, my children are my first priority, so I would like to just be with them for the first years of their life, and then eventually I would like to get into social work, because I'm all about collective responsibility and the way that we interact with each other, and I would like to just contribute there, however that may look.
So in your new discovery of the journey you're going through right now, in terms of discovering yourself much deeper, and where does God fit in this?
Where does God fit in this?
Yeah.
Like, what does God mean to you?
Well, that's the question I'm really trying to understand here.
Okay.
Is like, where does it fit in terms of, like, what's your perception of God to begin with? I think that's probably the best question to start.
My perception of God, it's like everything. I don't know. Beautiful, love is just the biggest thing for me anyway. And I just had this knowing as a kid, like, well, you know, I was raised in a belief that if you do these things, you're going to go to hell, and if you do these things, you're going to go to heaven. And that for me, and then in the midst of all that, God is such a loving God, and I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, if a God is such a loving God and he created everything, why would he send his creations to a fiery hell? Like, that made no sense to me. But in my inner knowing, I suppose, I still believed in that loving God, and my only wish when I was like a kid was that I wished everyone I loved were in heaven with me, like, if that's a thing, you know. And then as life went on and I, you know, experienced life, I was starting to realize that heaven is really just a state of mind. It's a vibration. It's a...
So hell is also, you reckon hell is also a state of mind?
I reckon hell is also a state of mind. Hell is complete separation from your God self, from what your created value is, really. And I suppose that's where the free will and the free choices come from. It's kind of weird to look at it that way if it's, you know, like, it's supposed to be a free will, but I don't know, I think that's the wonderful thing about life, is that where there's a duality, there's a polarity to life that allows us to experience these things. And, like, you know, we wouldn't know left if there was no right, we wouldn't know up if there was no down, we wouldn't know love if there was no hate, and so on. And yeah, I think I'm going.
No.
Yeah.
So you've got quite interesting perspective of life. So, like, how do you describe mental health? Like, what does mental health mean to you?
So mental health in the midst of that.
Yeah, because you've got, like, your views on life is quite extreme in terms of, like, love is the center of everything.
Yeah.
And so mental health looks like what to you? Well,
I think, you know, like we were saying, it's a state of mind, but I think there's a lot of factors that play into mental health, like, you know, obviously, well, like, when you're born into this world, into its current social structure, you're already being given these cards to be dealt with. Like, you're born into a race, you're born into a gender, you're born into a religion, your social status, so
your life is controlled.
Your geographic location. I feel like you consciously choose it before you come into this world. And having these cards that you've been dealt with and the family that you're born into, like, I don't know, I think for me it gives you kind of a blueprint to play with in life. Like, I look at life as a game. Like, there's an artist, Avicii, and he says life is a game made for everyone and love is the prize. And I feel like the game is so individual to you and your perception and your uniqueness. And, like, there's so many things to just explore because everybody has different.
I know you're so big on love, so here's a question for you.
Okay.
Is there a relationship you regret?
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Like it could be platonic, it could be friendship. Is there a relationship that you look back and be like, man, this was not a good relationship. I should not have got myself mixed into this.
No, I think they all served a purpose, and they're all part of the experience. And ultimately, this person that everybody in my life, I just have to believe that they were supposed to be there, and that in a way they are me.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. In a way. Well, there's.
I don't know nothing. Don't
know.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. What do you mean by
it goes back to God and to consciousness. I believe that we're all collective consciousness, and we've all come into this world to experience this physical separation. You're there and I'm here. But on the energetic level, we're all just one.
Yeah.
Experiencing each other, like the ocean, for example. Like it goes into rivers and streams and waterfalls and all these, beautiful water places, but we're all still one in that way.
It makes it hard to process. I don't like if we are really all one from the inside. Why is there so much hate? Why is there so much trouble in the world? Why is there so much fighting, so much war?
I think it's because people are unconscious and they have no awareness, or they don't know better. And something that a good friend always says, you can't apply what you don't know. And yeah, that's you.
I did.
So how do you, apply these? Yeah, yeah.
So, would you You're saying a lot of beautiful stuff that I love listening. I could listen to you all day, but I think the big question here is your childhood.
My childhood.
Because the desires that we have here and now, a large part of it I believe, were generated from our childhood.
Yeah.
Right? The desires that we have now is almost, like, I think for 9 out of 10 people, it's quite the opposite of what they experienced in their childhood. So they experience a certain event on the childhood, and then it gets us feeling like, man, I don't want to experience this ever again. What's the opposite of this? And you want to pursue that opposite and get to the other side of it.
Well, it's because as a child you feel things so deeply, and you know that if it's not good, it's not good. And
how was your childhood? Was it a happy childhood?
It was, and yeah, like for the first part of it, for me personally, I grew up with 4 other siblings, so there was 5 of us. And then my parents divorced when I was 10, and that caused me to rebel and experience life. And we had my mom's ex, who came into our lives and put down military rules, and that was obviously really, I don't know how to explain those bits too much, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that it was all kind of, I don't know, it's all part of the blueprint of life, I suppose. Like all of these experiences, all of these people that came into my life, and yeah, right down from childhood. And that was just part of the, I don't know, like, when you program a game, I suppose it's just part of the programming. And then like when you get older, you kind of develop a more conscious mind, and you can kind of see the consequences of your actions, and you become more aware of things. Children are children are living subconsciously. And
so again,
yeah,
how was your childhood?
how was my childhood? I don't really know how to answer that. Like feeling wise?
Yeah, feeling wise.
Feeling wise?
Did you have the best childhood you could possibly get? Would you wish your childhood upon your children? I think that's the best way to put it.
Oh, parts of it, yeah. Definitely. And
like what part? Like what part brings you so much joy that you would wish upon your children?
The parts that brought me so much joy. Like just being with my siblings and playing in the backyard and doing life with the people that you love in the most loving way possible. And yeah, I would wish those parts. But I don't necessarily regret or feel any animosity towards the parts that weren't like joyful, because
you have a story, so I can put it into perspective. Like what's a story that you remember that you reckon really affected you as a child? Like this little Bernadette experiencing these big emotions and it was too much for her to take.
Well, yeah, for like having my mum bring in somebody like a kind of a stranger into our life that would put down rules and stuff, and not having had built a relationship with us first, that definitely affected us. And yeah, that wasn't a fun experience, but I believe it was necessary.
Why? You got
why do I believe it was necessary?
Yeah. You adopted army ways.
Yeah. Adopted army ways. I don't know, because I suppose that it allows me to experience the opposite side of it, I suppose. Like having experienced what it felt like to be trapped and to be weak mentally and to feel powerless.
Weak?
Yeah, like maybe weak, or just like shame and guilt for my emotions and not being able to express that, and like living in fear, I suppose, to express those things because it didn't go a certain someone's way. And
isn't that funny? Because right now we're having the same conversation we had at the start.
Yeah.
Regarding the relationship with you and your kids.
Yeah, well, that's funny how it turns out.
Yeah, you use these exact same words too.
Yeah.
So it's almost like life has given you a chance to reenact your childhood with your kids.
Oh, heck yeah, for sure.
And then choose a different path.
Yeah. Instead
of what you experienced.
Yeah. That's the funny thing about life, isn't it?
So motherhood this, motherhood that. Motherhood seems to be a huge chunk of what you value, correct?
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
So what is career for?
The career?
Yeah, where is career in all this?
Well...
Do you believe in a career?
I feel like being a mom is a career in itself. It's a full-time job. But after that, yeah, like, when my children are older and want to go do beautiful things and create wonderful things for the world, or, express themselves authentically. And I feel like when that kind of goes, then I can, I don't know, I suppose I'll evolve or unfold into a different kind of person, and my values will change. Like I said, like everything's constantly changing in that way.
What would you say to people watching this that might be, you know what, Bernadette, you need to get a job. You need to get a full-time job. Because I'm sure someone is thinking that we need more people working full-time jobs. Because obviously, if you're not working for a full-time job, then is that fair to say that you got assistance elsewhere, correct? Like you've got some sort of financial assistance somewhere.
Oh yeah, I've got financial assistance, thanks to the Australian government.
Hey, my tax money. So there's people there that will probably be quite annoyed at you. That you could put the kids in daycare, you could do whatever, and you can get a full-time job. What would you say to that?
If they're annoyed at me, I would say like, look inside yourself.
Do you not feel any threat, or you don't feel any need to get a full-time job at all?
No way. No way. If I have the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mum, which I do because I have an awesome relationship with my mom now and my family, and all those hard challenges that came in childhood, it all kind of made us all stronger as a family together, which is just so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now like I have the opportunity to stay with my mom and my siblings, so I have an awesome support, and I understand how important that is for just mothers. Like, I wish that on all mothers, but I also understand that may not be the case. And if I had to go to work, I would do it, but because...
But you don't really want to do it, do you?
No, I don't desire it. Not at the early stages of their life.
She's not going to do it.
But there are also some mothers that do desire to do that, and that's completely fine. And that's what makes them feel fulfilled and alive, which I think is so okay as well,
It looks like you've dedicated a fair bit of your energy to your family.
Yeah, definitely.
And that obviously must be pretty higher up in your value system.
Yes.
And do you think every mother should be a stay-at-home mom? Especially in the early years of their children? Like, what's the consequences of not being a stay-at-home mom? What do you reckon would have happened if you didn't stay at home with your kids in the early years?
I feel like that's something to be discussed between them and their partner if they have one. But I also think, like, I know not all mothers want to be a stay-at-home mom. Some find fulfillment in working, and that's what makes them feel more alive. And if that's what is good for them mentally and emotionally, then it's what's good for the kids in that way, I suppose, because the mother can kind of show up in a more full way for herself.
Yeah.
Not all mothers or women are the same in that way, and that's
what I'm picking from you here is that it's not about how you choose to live, it's about what sort of like state you're in, because that's what you're transferring to your children. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so do whatever it takes for you to be in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
So that your children get the best of you.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah, that is actually, that's... Yeah. You just...
There you go. Father on the way.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I've never looked at it like that, but yeah, that is exactly what it is.
So, then if that's the case, then there's no need for any judgment. It's just mothers doing what's best to get them into that state, right?
Yeah.
So that they can obviously transfer that down to the kid.
Yeah, well, wouldn't the world be such a wonderful place if we all stopped judging each other and accepted...
But a full-time job... You know what? I wasn't going to go there. Let me go there.
All right, do it.
Mothers are working full-time job.
Yeah.
And then coming home and doing all the cooking and the cleaning and so forth.
Yeah.
They're exhausted.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So something's got to give.
Something's got to change. Sounds like the world needs to be in balance somehow.
So what do you reckon is the balance there? Say it.
What's the balance? I don't know, come back to me in 5 years and I'll give you...
What's the balance there?
I was saying before, I feel like it's the balance between the energy.
Nah, let's be practical. Come on, don't run away.
Practical.
What's the balance there? A mother has got like little children, put them in the daycare. She works a full-time job. She comes home, she has to cook, do the cleaning and so forth.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
That's so cool.
It's full on.
Yeah.
So what's the balance there? How can someone like that get balanced?
Well, we all need each other. I'm going to make it practical if you want me to make it practical. We all kind of... This is where the collective responsibility comes from, is that if you see that, you take it on as a part of yourself and you're also responsible in that sense. And like, if you see that and it's making people struggle mentally, then obviously something needs to be done. So I suppose it's
Like,
just...
what needs to be done? What would your solution be? Because the cost of things are just rising. Rent is like, so families are really struggling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, families are really struggling. You have mum and dad working, and still families are struggling.
So what's the balance there?
And then you're there, you don't have a full-time job, you looks like you're having a blast. Just love this, love that. Some people might be looking at you like, how are you having so much fun and we're here struggling? What would you advise to people like that? What change do you reckon they've got to make in there? Maybe it's a consciousness change.
Actually, yes, I was just about to say that. I think it is definitely the state of mind that you're embodying. And it's a practice, just like anything. Like, you know, you don't have such a fit body because you're just lazing around. Like, you have it because you're showing up to your body, and you have a awesome relationship with your body, and you take care of it. However that looks like to you can look different to everybody. And I feel like that's the same mentally, and your state of mind. Like, what are you doing to show up, to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally? And I do believe everything kind of flows from there, from the mental state. From the mental state. You know, everything was once imagined. And I think that's just it. Just kind of showing up for yourself so that you can show up for others.
And no, that sounds like a great advice. But then the first question people say, okay, how do I show up for myself?
Okay. I think...
What do you do that you reckon works for you?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks different for everybody. But for me, personally, like, I like to read, and my outlet is writing and singing and dancing. I recommend that for everybody.
So performance.
I think it's important to explore your artistic side of life. I think everybody has an artsy thing because it allows it allows you to explore a deeper part of yourself.
Yeah.
And express what's being suppressed. And
that's a dangerous thing to say. Express what's being suppressed. You're gonna get people doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Maybe in the name of expression. I just said in an artsy way. That's probably because, like,
in a painting, in
a movie, in a book, you know, there's thriller, horror, all these things that.
Yeah, but then what would you say if you follow that? So you know there's the Bible verse that says, "As a man thinketh, so is he."
Okay.
Right. Let's say you're feeling a certain emotion and it's overboard, and you want to express that. Let's say you go and watch horror movies.
Okay.
Then you watch the horror movie. Then that becomes your daily thinking. Then what are you producing? Like,
just slashing everybody. Okay. So maybe not express what you suppress. Okay, right there. But just to understand it. Understand what's being suppressed, maybe.
What way, like, what do you do to understand yourself? I know early on you're talking about you've been doing some really in-depth work on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how does that look like?
So I had to do, like, a lot of journaling for me. I was getting everything that was coming in my mind on paper, kind of emptying it on a piece of paper and just reading it, and then having a look at it maybe a bit later, and then I don't know, not judging it, but just seeing that you feel these things and it's okay to feel these things. And to, I don't know, like, surrender it is, I don't make too much, like, when I write my things, or I express it on a piece of paper, I just leave it. For me, that's like a mental health thing for me personally, because it kind of empties that out. I suppose that is me expressing what's in there. And I suppose if I I don't know, I think suppressing is probably different from what I'm saying, because I think suppressing is like leaving it in there, and then it kind of manifesting through your body, your actions, and
That just got me thinking. The topic is a bit different kind of topic here. Suicide rate.
Suicide rate.
Because you were talking about suppression and keeping things on the inside. Why do you think the suicide rate is so high right now?
I think people feel like they're alone and nobody understands them, and they just don't know like what else to do. I don't know, I feel like that's the kind of the mental state of being in complete separation, because you feel so alone. And that's a touchy for me, that feels a bit touchy, because it's sad for someone to think, for me to think that someone can feel that alone. I haven't really explored that much into my heart in that way, but it does make me sad to think about that.
You use the word separation.
Yeah.
And early on you said separation is hell.
Yeah.
So if we substitute those two words across, so people are feeling a state of hell.
Yeah, I suppose, because it's just not where you're meant to be. Like, well, for me personally, I believe that people who are going through that experience are like no different to me, and they have the ability to live a beautiful life, which I think that we should.
Have you been in a dark space like that? Like
Yes.
in a dark place? You have?
Yes.
How did you come up?
I sought support outside of myself, and that helped a lot, actually.
What does that mean, support outside yourself? Like
are
you okay there? You waiting for you okay there?
I can I don't know, I suppose making that decision to talk to somebody, I think that was really important. And if I didn't, then I would have just been in my thoughts in a loop,
Yeah. Was it a family, a friend, or organization?
Yeah, a family friend, someone that I felt like I could trust. Yeah.
No, that made a difference.
And that definitely made a difference. Yeah.
So what would you say to this then? So in those high rates of suicidal, the highest rate are actually male.
Yeah.
Why are men doing it more than women?
Why are men doing it more than women?
Like, some women are like, people used to say, this world is a men's world. But then when I look at the suicide rate, I see that more men are taking their life away than women. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
I know I'm giving you difficult topics here, but...
No, yeah, it's cool. It's good to explore my thoughts around this stuff. Men and suicide rates. I feel like a lot of men get shamed for feeling things because there's such a stigma on them expressing how they feel, and that's just kind of sad. Like, I have a nearly 2-year-old boy, and to just think that he's not able to express himself in a safe place is, a little bit sad to me. But I think that's just what it is. They don't feel safe. They'll get a lot of heat and judgment from society, from people who think that men should be a certain way. And I was talking about embodying like the balance between the feminine and the masculine energy,
Yeah.
and it being irrespective of gender.
Yeah.
And some men out there may predominantly occupy a feminine energy,
Yeah.
which is completely fine.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe they get shunned a lot for expressing those things, and so they have to suppress it to feel accepted, and that's their way of being connected.
You're saying some big stuff there.
Yeah. But rather than seeking connection outside of yourself in that way, I think it's important to connect with your inner self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you think relationship affects those numbers of suicide rate?
Relationships,
Yeah.
like,
well, relationship between men and women, like marriage and dating and all that stuff. How much you reckon that impacts that?
I think it impacts everybody in that person's life. Maybe
like
actually.
romantic relationship
Relationships
is what I'm talking about. Do you think romantic relationship is a cause of most of this suicide?
Gosh, I don't actually know that, but if that is the case, then I don't know. I think there's a lot of factors surrounding that. I heard somewhere that don't quote me on this, but like India was like the one with the less divorce rates, but had the most suicide rates or something for men or something.
I'll check it out.
Or mental health or something.
I did some research on that.
Surrounding that. So it's like I feel like there's even a stigma around marriage where people have to stay together to be, I don't know, socially accepted, maybe even accepted in their family, and there's such a judgment around divorce, like you're a failure, or just things like
you're going through some form of separation, you said.
Yeah.
Do you have any shame?
No.
No guilt?
No.
How did you escape the guilt and shame?
I kind of accept it. Like I accept it as a part of life.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. Like I wish the best for everyone in my life. Like I
So I think you were about to finish it. I'll let you finish that.
No, you go.
I was gonna add on to that and say, so what happened to the forever? What's the word? Forever after? No.
Or happily forever.
Happily forever.
Happy. What is it? Happily
there you
forever.
go. I don't watch Disney anymore. Happily ever after. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, like I love you forever and ever and ever.
Do you believe? Because that's what religion. Well, you born from a Christian background, right?
Yeah. Christian
background is you get married and it's forever until death do us part.
Until death do you part.
Yeah.
What happened to happily forever after? Or like, could you say like what happened to the love that was supposed to feel like forever? Is that what you meant?
Well, it's not supposed to feel forever. It's supposed to be forever.
It's supposed to be forever. Okay. Well, in saying
from
that,
a Christian background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
definitely
feel that way towards my children's father. Like that love will never die. I don't believe that when you love someone you can unlove them. I just don't believe that that's a thing. And if you hate your ex or whatever, it's because you're hating a part of yourself that you can't accept.
Oh.
And
neck.
Oh, okay. And it hurts. Like there's a sense of, I don't know, for whatever reason, I suppose there's a sense of betrayal, and you can easily get stuck in the victim mindset around whatever happened to the situation. And I feel like that's just a dangerous place to live in. But like I said, I don't have that kind of
guilt.
And that guilt, animosity, and that love shift, that that love is still there. It's just shifted into a different way of expression, I suppose. Yeah.
So physically being together forever after until death do us apart. It's a myth or it's doable?
I mean, if that's your heart's desire, it's doable. Heck yeah.
But isn't that dangerous? Because if women or men going into a relationship with the sole goal of lasting forever after, what does that do to your relationship?
Well, I seriously think it depends on, I think it's a conscious decision that you have to make to maintain that kind of happily forever after.
But if that's your goal, right? If that's your goal going into the relationship,
yeah,
do you feel like you're gonna neglect everything else just so you can keep that goal in mind, so you can achieve that goal?
So I can achieve that.
So if your goal going into marriage, I think early on you're talking about your perception in terms of like Disney movies and whatever. The goal is what is prince finds a princess and then they get married and then live forever after.
Yeah.
And the goal is how can we last longer?
Okay.
Right? The goal is not the how healthy is this relationship.
Yeah.
The goal is how can we last longer. So then you see people with 12, 13 years of marriage or whatever.
And yet they're miserable.
Miserable as hell.
Yeah.
But the goal
is to keep it together. What
then the question is, do you think that goal in marriage is a myth?
Yes. Heck yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. I don't feel like people should adopt that coming into a marriage. I feel like marriage is a failed social practice, and the concept around what a marriage is has failed us as a society, I suppose. It's like till death do us part, but rather, for me personally, it should be for the expansion of our human collectiveness and the expansion of ourselves. And, sometimes people come into your life and they just serve you a particular lesson, and then you'll realize that your values or your beliefs are no longer aligning, so it's better to part ways, but to have that understanding of each other in a harmonious way, and then consciously part ways, knowing that it's the best for the expansion of our human collectiveness, I suppose. And I feel like if people come together for that purpose and not that guilt or shame
But imagine if that was the case in society, it would be, people might use that as an excuse to continuously divorce. Just come in, okay, I feel like spending now, I'm out.
I feel like spending.
Right? Then there's nothing anchoring you to really try to work the relationship out. Right? Don't you think that's the case? If
that could be the case, for sure.
If you were like going into a relationship, okay, I'm going in this one just to experience.
Okay.
Then when do you know that the experience is enough? Are people so in tune with themselves and so in tune with the spirit that they know when the season is over? Or most people don't even know when they're in seasons. And if that's the case, then someone could use that as an excuse to, instead of working through a relationship, then by pulling out of the relationship and being like, the grass is green on the other side.
Oh, the grass is green on the other side.
Because that's the gist of, I see the benefit of having that, because it's a Christian idea, right, of staying together until death do you part.
Yeah.
Right? I see the benefit in somewhat having that, that it anchors you to try to work through your problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you didn't have that anchor, and you didn't have that I think ideology on you, like, okay, I've got to work something out, then grass is green on the other side would have been the default for 99% of people.
Yeah.
The smallest amount of resistance and conflict, I'm out.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that's where consciousness comes in. Like, you're consciously both deciding what it is you want in that relationship, I suppose, and working together through that. Because, you can get into a relationship on feeling alone, like on feelings alone, I should say, without consciously thinking about what the purpose of it is for the both of you. And yeah, I think it's important to explore that, I suppose, before entering into a relationship. Yeah.
So one last question before we're coming towards the end and the end of it. How did you know your season was over and it was time to move on?
Well, for me personally, I sought to grow and expand in a different way to my children's father, and we were starting to realize that our desires in life were no longer aligning, and I was also beginning to like, that's where my codependency came in. I was beginning to lose myself trying to meet his desires, and I was losing myself along the way in doing that, and that wasn't good for my health, and it wasn't good for the kids, which is so important for me. And then I suppose that's when I realized that it's, for me, the best part. And not just for my sake but also for his sake, to have that sense of fulfillment for himself, and however that means for him, because fulfillment means different things to different people. And having that different sense of fulfillment and pursuing that sense of fulfillment for myself, I suppose. And
there's one thing that keeps coming to my mind as I'm listening to you speak about parting ways, and I'm just thinking about my own personal life. And here's a question for you: how do you know that the current decision you're making is not a repeated decision? And the way, what I mean by that is, for example, we experience trauma through our childhood, right? And so there's patterns that we can observe, right? If we look at our parents, we see a certain pattern, and then we see the same pattern in ourselves. How do you know it's this time it's coming from you? It's not part of the pattern.
So it goes back to consciousness, really, like being conscious of the pattern. And is it? What's that again?
So
you said.
So
how do I know it's not the same?
How do you know you're not making a decision that's actually a subconscious decision, and it's going along with a pattern from your traumas, your families, from all sorts of things. Like if mom's relationship was a certain way, that happened a certain way, and then you see your relationships taking the same pattern. How do you know that this decision is actually coming from your inner, God in you, like the spirit in you, and not part of the program?
So I think that's where conscious awareness comes from, like plays a part, because you should be, it's important to be conscious and aware of your behavioral patterns, and to, I don't know, bring light to it so that you can change that. And that's, I suppose, how I knew, is because the friction wasn't happening just one time, it was numerous times, and to the point I had to accept it for myself. And because it was difficult for me to accept at first, because I'm like, no, like, the happily ever after, this is my idea of what it's supposed to be like, and I wanted to do everything possible to save that idea. But I think just the friction of it all was pushing me to let go, and I needed to make that conscious decision to let go.
Wow, that's a lot of beautiful stuff you've said on the mic. How fulfilled are you right now? How happy are you right now in terms of your life?
I feel pretty happy. Like like a rating.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel quite 10 out of 10, to be honest.
Yeah. In terms of happiness, you
Yeah.
feel like everything is flowing, everything's lining up.
Yeah, everything's flowing.
Yeah.
It's good. Life is good.
Last question, just for the viewers. How do you want to be
Okay.
remembered after you pass away?
How do I want to be remembered? I think it doesn't matter what I want, but it's how I leave you feeling with whatever I share.
Mm.
And, you know, when we leave this world, people don't remember, well, you know, my kids anyway, like my children won't remember the things I said or did for them. They'll remember how I made them feel.
Mm.
And it's important to me that they feel loved and accepted in every aspect of themselves. And I suppose that's just a feeling that I want to leave with the world, maybe. And hopefully it be a domino effect. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today, and thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and TikTok. And if you really want to support us, please support us on Patreon, Subscribestar, and Crypto. I personally want to say thank you to all of you that are following us, and I want to make a promise that if you follow us, if you subscribe to our channel, that we will keep producing the best, highest form of quality content to add value to your life and help you find fulfillment in life. Thank you.